Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back again to a different opinion. So, another day, another few articles to go through today. And this one here is yet again going back to the Dutch farmer uprising. So, yet again, this is from DutchUprising.com. And I do suggest jumping on there as well. I'll leave a link in the description if you do want to jump on and have a look for yourself. And I'll also put kind of the articles description in the descriptions as well, so you can read for yourself. They are protesting against the government for obviously trying to reduce the nitrogen, and there's been showings left, right, and center. I mean, it's kind of like the truckers convoy that happened in Canada and New Zealand as well is now happening here in the Netherlands. So this one here is breaking. A Bill Gates Foundation supermarket in the Netherlands that focused on new age foods like plant protein meat has spontaneously caught fire in the middle of the night. So as you can see here, that obviously Bill Gates is trying to stop normal meat, right? That we've heard him say it. He's been saying it left, right, and center to use plant-based protein, right? So, and obviously he's the one who's buying up, millions of acres of land and just ridiculous amount of land in America. Now he's trying to buy up land in the Netherlands as well. So obviously the farmers are connecting the dots here and realizing that this is a coup, in my opinion. They're trying to get rid of the farmers so they can get this crap into our systems. You got to sometimes think, why is cancer rate so high these days compared to back in the day with food, right? I mean, it's just all so fake these days. You don't actually know what's in your food anymore. And, it's very worrisome. It's getting that way. But so here's a video. You can see in the background there, the supermarket is just burning down. And this is obviously the Bill Gates funded one. So to me, this is good to see. I mean, that dude is literally, he's become very, very dodgy now that he's going into all the farming and fake meat and saying to people to stop eating real meat. Like, I don't know about you, but I love a good steak on a barbecue grill, especially with the charcoal, or smoke some Louisiana style ribs. Like, I mean, literally you can't go wrong. Like, and people want you to stop eating that and eat plant-based bread. Come on, Bill Gates, try better. So this one here, the farmer convoy arrives in Nijmegen, which is, I believe, a very left-wing village. You can see here, so I'll jump straight into it. So you can hear it's similar to the Canadian kind of trucker convoy where they're hooting, but just with tractors. It's so cool, and they're standing up against the government, which is being ridiculous on trying to cut back so quick instead of giving the farmers enough time, to work that nitrogen out. So when it comes to the Rutte voters here, I can exclusively report who's mad. This is the people behind them hooting at them. But I bet you they won't ever get out of their cars and do anything about it, right? So in my opinion, very good showings. Like, I mean, you can see here, the party openly supports nitrogen emissions cap policy that farmers are currently fighting, and the farmers' presence in a stronghold is unlikely to welcome sight. Much of what GroenLinks, or Green Links, has been advocating for 30 years when it comes to nature and nitrogen was announced today by the cabinet. So controversially, the right-wing Party for Freedom has absolutely condemned the policy, with leader Geert Wilders saying our farmers and our food supply are going down because the policy, while the leader of the farmer citizen movement, Caroline van der Plas, said the policy was inhumane and without perspective. Fully agree. I mean, these farmers are going to lose their farms. They're not going to be able to do what the government wants them to do within a reasonable cost, right? Like, I mean, food is going to even skyrocket even more than it has now. And one of the Netherlands' biggest exports is, livestock, agriculture, things like that. So they're not going to make it, like, unfortunately. And then, so here, new Dutch-German convoy heads to the border. So you can see the support here from so this is the German side on the right, and then, a lot of support on the highway there for them. You can see here again, all the support, all the tractors lined up next to the highway, which is pretty cool in my opinion, right? Like, when have we ever seen these things in our lifetimes? Like, not really. And recently, because the governments are freaking ridiculous, like in Canada and New Zealand and stuff, yeah. So here's chanting from the crowd, screaming, boer, 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 which is farmers, farmers, boer, boer, boer. You can see, like, most people, they're very young. Like, you don't expect the support like this from young people, but they're supporting the farmers. And here it is. So after politicians' decision to close dozens of farms and cattle ranches to reduce nitrogen to comply with the absurd EU regulations on nitrogen pollution, the angry Dutch farmers have issued an ultimatum threatening to block the country's airports, ports, and distribution centers. You can see just thousands of people everywhere, trucks everywhere. So cool, when people stand up like this together. And then, obviously, back to old totalitarian Trudeau himself. What's happening to Dutch farmers, Trudeau is doing to Canadians. So, if Ottawa imposes a 30% fertilizer reduction scheme on farmers, our agriculture sector could lose up to $48 billion. Inflation is already at a 20-year high, and if the federal government mandates cuts in food production, it'll only make food more expensive. This is where old Bill Gates and people like that, which are making the fake food, are going to come in and be like, oh, we can give you this for so much cheaper. Why don't you try this? And then that's when you won't be told the right story anymore. You're going to think it's real meat, but it ain't real meat. And we'll forget what real meat tastes like. And then there's no point for any animal, like farm animals, to exist anymore. So this is partly due to, they always try and blame it on the war in Ukraine, right? So in December 2020, Trudeau government unveiled their new climate plan with a focus on reducing nitrous oxide emissions from fertilizer by 30% below 2020 levels by 2030. So it's only 10 years. They're trying to reduce 1/3. Fertilizer plays a major role in the agriculture sector's success and have contributed to record harvests in the last decade. They've helped drive increases in Canadian crop yields, grain sales, and exports. However, nitrous oxide emissions, particularly those associated with synthetic nitrogen fertilizer use, have grown significantly. That is why the Government of Canada has set a national fertilizer emissions reduction target, which is part of the commitment to reduce total GHG emissions Canada by 40 to 45% by 2030. Do none of these politicians take any notice of what happened to Sri Lanka? Right? So Sri Lanka just kept borrowing money because obviously the cost of living was going through the roof and they couldn't afford their own things anymore. And take a guess what the government in Sri Lanka did halfway through the pandemic and, them being in such debt. Government decided, we're going to go full organic with our farming. So people couldn't get any more of this fertilizer. Same thing that Canada and Netherlands are trying to do is they just cut it within a year or two, I believe the plan. So everything just pretty much broke. The whole system broke. No one could even get food anymore. That's why Sri Lanka is how they are now. People are starving. There's not enough food. They had to get food sent from India and from neighboring countries to help them. They don't have money to pay for it. They got nothing. And this is the reason why. It's inept governments making stupid decisions, like trying to reduce these things when it's at the wrong time. Like, plan this better, let the country recover, and then do your cutting that you need to do in a timely manner. You can't just go to the farmers, boom, you only got a couple of years to drop this. It's ridiculous. And then this is so good to see protesters go off on PM Justin Trudeau during his visit in Sudbury. So have a quick listen.
You're nothing but a communist pig!
You're nothing but a communist pig.
Nothing but a communist pig! That's what you are!
Yeah,
You're disgusting!
You tell him.
He should resign!
Free our political prisoners!
That's disgusting! Communist!
Imagine just running a country and you know that like more than half of your country don't even like you. Isn't that, like, wouldn't you feel sad about yourself and feel like you failed at your job? I definitely would. Like, I mean, imagine if you're a salesperson and 70% of the people that you sell products to don't even like you one bit. Sad, man. And then here we go. Protests for removal of government have started in Italy. Italians said, F the corrupt government. The world have woken up. So even Italy, it's hit Italy. It's getting bigger and bigger around the world. I mean, Sri Lanka just got their prime minister and the government to step down. And now they're pretty much going to be run by, you know, people who need to come and turn the country around. So they're going to make some tough decisions, literally on, you know, a lot of things. They're going to start cutting back because they don't care about the people. They care about getting back into the positive for money, right? The banks are going to be running that country for a while until they can, you know, and this is the tough thing too, is because China keeps offering more and more money. They kept offering more money. They offered them another loan to try and get them out of this debt, but then they can't repay that. So what Sri Lanka kept doing was they're just borrowing, and to pay back what they need to pay back, but then they're getting in deeper and deeper debt, which just, you know, it's never going to work. We all know that. So yeah, I digress. Obviously, let me know what you think. You think it's fair on the farmers just to drop this on them like that? I mean, if this is just a normal, let's say, for example, retail businesses around a country, and you say you got to drop 30% of your main selling product that you need to be able to, you know, get the rest of your products. That's technically what fertilizer is. You need that fertilizer to grow what you need to grow. And let me know what you think in the comments. Like the video if you liked the video, dislike the video if you disliked it, and also subscribe down at the bottom there if you do want to see my future videos. And then hopefully I shall see you in the next one. Thank you for watching.